Renana Gomeh is one of many Israelis whose lives changed forever on the 7th of October when Hamas terrorists crossed into Israel, killing more than 1,400 people and kidnapping more than 200. Her two sons, aged 12 and 16, were among those taken hostage.
We all woke up to the red alert at 6:30 Saturday morning, October 7th. I was away. They slept alone at my house. They're 12 and 16 on a normal world. Teenagers can do that every now and again. I called them just to see that they know the routine, unfortunately, that they need to go into the safe room, which is the eldest's bedroom as well. And they were. And then I just stayed with them on the phone every few minutes to, they were scared, obviously. There was a barrage of rockets falling at us. So they were quite scared. At a certain point, they said they started hearing gunshots outside the house. And I told them it was probably the army protecting us. I started getting text messages from other members of the community. We live in a small community, about 400 people. So we started getting texts saying that there are terrorists walking outside freely, dressed in the IDF army uniform, and telling people not to go outside and not to open doors. And then the text went into saying that they started breaking into houses and taking people away and burning families inside their house. Just half an hour later, I can't give it up, the timeline is all blurred. They called me and they said they hear someone breaking in. They whispered. And I asked them to be quiet and to stay on the line with me. And just a few minutes later, I could hear a few people speaking between them, probably 2 or 3 people speaking between them in Arabic, and the door to the safe room broke, even though my eldest held it very, very strongly. He's a strong lad, but he couldn't hold it anymore. And they opened the safe room's door, and I could hear my youngest saying on the phone, I could hear him on the phone saying to them, don't take me, I'm too young. And that was it. The line cut off. And that's the last I've heard of them. And they were dragged into Gaza, and I don't know where they are and where they're about or who they're with, or even if they're still alive.
And what have you heard from the government? Has anyone been in touch? Has anybody told you what steps are being taken to try and secure their release? No, well, they did, there's always someone who's supposed to be like a contact person on cases like this, but they don't have any new information that they can give me. And I presume that even if they were to have new information, they wouldn't give it to me. And there's 200 families in Israel waiting for those news. And obviously it might work against the actual release if they were to give any information. So. Right. And on Friday, we heard the news that 2 people had been released. That must have given you some hope.
It has, actually, yes. I always say that as they know that we treasure life, they will keep them safe, because they know they're worth a lot more alive. So this is my hope. And obviously to see those 2 ladies released in a good condition and in good health, it did give me a lot of hope that there can be a good end to this tragedy.
And meanwhile, the IDF does appear to be building up to a ground offensive in Gaza, part of the aims of which is getting the hostages back.
Is that the right thing to do, to go in on the ground?
Obviously, I'm not the IDF chief commander, and don't want to be. And I'm not an army expert, so it's a bit unfair to ask me. As a mother, obviously, I don't want the IDF to go in before they take my children out. And to be honest, I'm against war. For any. On the other hand, I saw them as neighbors all these years, and look what they've done to us. They've murdered and raped and butchered people, and families, complete families were butchered in their beds. So I must say, I don't have the answer to that. All I know is I want my children back home now, before any other move is done or taken. I don't know what the best way to get them out is. If it was up to me, obviously, I'd rather have some kind of transaction and have their prisoners released. Doesn't matter, in a year's time, we'll have another, 5,000 or 6,000 prisoners in our cells, given hot meals and hot showers and telephones. So all I know is I want my children back home now.
Understood. And clearly this has been a terrible, traumatizing experience. Why did you agree to talk to us about it?
Because I want the world to know, and I want the world to enlist to the effort of releasing them. Children should not be a part of the war game. They're not bargain chips. And I think the world has a great deal of power on Palestinians. The EU has a lot of power. Qatar has a lot of power. The US has a lot of power. A lot of money is flowing into the Palestinian state, so to speak. This money was supposed to build a Palestinian state, but instead it was used to build a terror organization. And I think the world should know that, and the world should, again, enlist to the effort of releasing my children and the other children. There are 31 children who are uninvolved in any way. I want the world to enlist to the effort of releasing them now. I want them home now. There's no, there's no reason to hold them.
And the first thing you'll say to them when you get them home?
I don't want to say anything. I just want to hug them and have them in my arms, and want to make them feel safe again and feel home again. Even they don't have a home to come back to, but they have me to come back to.
Well, thank you for telling your story and sharing your story with us, and we wish you the best of all possible outcomes. Renana Gomeh, a mother of 2 boys held hostages by Hamas. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.